In the time of the dinosaurs, no world was more different from our modern day one than that of the Triassic period. It was during this time that the reign of the dinosaurs met its official start. Thus, the earlier known dinosaurs, like these Herrerasaurs for example, roamed the land. Herrerasaurus is famous for being one of the oldest known dinosaurs ever discovered. It was a bipedal carnivore that was about 10 feet in length and had a boxy-like skull filled with serrated teeth, used for tearing its prey apart. Their main diet consists of rodents and reptiles that scatter around the forest floors that surround the clearing in which these Herrerasaurs are residing in. But recently, food has been scarce and harder to find as the days go by. The Herrerasaurs are hungry and impatient and become more hostile with each other the longer they're without food. Despite the lack of food, this clearing provides everything else these Herrerasaurs could ever need: territory, water, and more importantly, isolation from the dangers of the world outside the clearing. And because of this, the pack leader refuses to leave the comfort of his home, and the others stay with him. Night will fall soon, and the Herrerasaurs will go to bed with empty bellies, but tomorrow's a new day. Maybe, just maybe, they'll have better luck with food then. After a restless night, the Herrerasaurs scavenge for food as the early morning sun emerges from the horizon. But just like any other day previous to this one, there is no luck. There is no food anywhere. The Herrerasaurs have successfully driven their prey from the area, and due to the stubbornness of the pack leader, he will not leave the safety of this area, despite the fact that it could be just as dangerous in here as the world outside of it. As juveniles, Herrerasaurs tend to move and hunt in packs, but drift away as they reach adulthood. Then after that, they spend their days in solitude, and fending for themselves. But this particular pack has a special bond. Unlike the typical behavior of a Herrerasaur, they didn't drift apart. In fact, they stayed with each other and helped each other out through the struggles of adulthood for a carnivorous dinosaur. And despite their conflicts and struggles in the past, they still managed to find peace within the pack, and will only become mildly hostile towards each other. But nonetheless, they are still Herrerasaurs, and their primal nature will dominate their peaceful one if it comes down to it. And if the stubbornness of the leader continues, then the Herrerasaurs will have to resort to more drastic measures, some resulting in bloodshed. And the lack of food will only bring down their peaceful nature. It's only a matter of time. As the day continues, so does the struggle. It almost makes the leader reconsider the idea of leaving the clearing and search for food for him and his siblings. But he is still hesitant, and due to his refusal on venturing out onto the land that is now South America, he doesn't realize that his species are the apex predator of their homeland. And the irony is, he will soon learn the errors of his ways after finally deciding to lead the pack outside of the clearing. The Herrerasaur pack does not find food. In fact, they find the polar opposite, a threat, another pack of Herrerasaurs. This is a very rare confrontation. Typically, Herrerasaurs are rogue and don't travel in packs. Two separate packs like this can only result in a brutal conflict. And just like the initial pack, this second one is hungry and looking for food. They are close to starvation, but still strong enough to attack the first pack, if it comes down to it. At first, this sudden encounter has both packs confused, but it's not long before both packs are on a full-on territory war. The thing about Herrerasaurs is that they're very territorial creatures, and when one pack trespasses onto another's land, then a fight will ensue. The weakness from the lack of food shows that it is clear the initial pack is unable to withstand the second. as each one, slowly but surely, soon perish. Soon there is no more fight left in the siblings. They are too wounded, too damaged beyond repair. All they can do now is wait for the sweet release of death to take them away from this cruel world. A world never ventured through, never explored. Had they done that, it could have prevented their deaths. Instead, they stayed and waited for the threat to come to them. After the bloody fight, the second pack have fulfilled their intentions. They now have food to satisfy them for weeks to come, by feasting on the remains of the initial pack of Herrerasaurs. Some of the siblings are barely alive, and very much in pain, but their misery will soon end, for the second pack will not spare these ones. The second pack did what the first could not do. They ventured out of their territory in search of food. Because their land was scarce, they would have starved if they hadn't looked for food, and because of their actions, they managed to find a weak pack of Herrerasaurs, and took advantage of that, by killing them, and using them as a food source, to keep them going, at least for a little while. The powers of natural selection are unforgiving, but work within each species. Those ignorant and refusing to venture out into the real world, to search for a necessity that will keep them going, will perish. And those that do, it is a risk. They may find what they need, or they may find a threat. But that is a risk they will need to take, especially if it means the continuation of their species.